Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hideout TV podcast with your hosts, Osumoo, Wolf, and yours truly, Ari Wasabi. Today, I have a great question for you guys. What is your favorite food ever?
Man, I gotta
Osumoo?
think on
Does
that. Hold on.
hibachi count?
Sushi. It's gotta be sushi.
Yeah, dude. I feel you there.
I think hibachi counts.
Hibachi.
Hibachi.
What in hibachi, though?
Yeah.
I mean, my three favorite things in the whole world is rice, shrimp, and steak. So that's enough for me.
Okay. There we go. Yeah,
That-
that makes sense.
That wins me over. I'm in. What was the first time you ever had sushi? Actually, when's the first time you ever had hibachi?
Probably 6 years ago when I was in college.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Never really had it before then until I moved.
What got you,
My
what gave you the
small
drive
town.
to go get hibachi?
I don't know. It looked good. I mean, I always liked steak and shrimp, so I wanted to try it. Everyone else likes it. I've never had sushi. I've still not tried sushi. So.
What?
Wait, no. Hold on. Wait,
What?
I know this. We talked about this.
I
really went-
if I knew it, I
really went,
didn't.
What?
Yeah, I've never had sushi.
Oh, my God.
It looks good, though.
Oh,
Sushi
man.
is
Sushi is so...
bomb.com.
It's fundamental. See, okay, now... Okay, so, man, before we were recording, I was talking about how I wanted a burger, and now I want sushi.
I need rolls and sashimi on my desk right now.
I can't remember when I had, like, the first time I had sushi. I remember not liking it because I didn't like the texture. I had,
Wow. Oh, yeah?
I had nigiri first, and I remember being like it was, the salmon, and so I was just like, I don't like this because it makes me want to throw up, like, just tasting it.
Raw
I was a
fish,
kid, I mean, like, I was,
right.
I imagine I was like 5 years old or something, and it I don't even know, it may have been hospital sushi. I don't know.
Hospital sushi?
Yeah, I was a little bit of a lab rat.
That's a thing?
So, yeah.
Yeah, I tested out the
Yeah.
hospital sushi.
Well,
Ended
yeah,
up in
I mean,
ICU for months.
Well, I mean, I get, or when I was a kid, especially, I got regular blood transfusions and treatments for a genetic thing, and and we'd have, lunchtime, and one of the things that this children's hospital served was sushi, and so I think that was legitimately my first exposure to sushi, because I have a memory in my head of, like, my mom being like, "That's not how sushi is done." And being like,
Huh.
"Oh, okay," 'cause
Yeah.
I was gonna throw up.
I can't imagine a hospital doing a very good job of, especially a
I
hospital
can't either.
cafeteria.
In
That
retrospect,
just sounds really
obviously-
gross.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
it's like
in
getting sushi
retrospect,
from like school lunch sushi or something. Like that's
Ew.
that's a little sus.
Yeah,
What's in that
no,
stuff?
It honestly, again, my young mind was not prepared for it, and but you know what? They did a really good job with omelets. So Children's Hospital, y'all do good omelets.
Children's Hospital. It's got good omelets. I'll keep that in
Stick
mind.
with the omelets, though.
Big topic of
What are you
tonight's
gonna be at a
episode.
children's hospital?
I don't know. I don't know. One of these days, I'll end up in a children's hospital again, and
He actually
I'll
goes
be like,
to
"Oh yeah, I
entertain
gotta
all
try
of
those
the-
omelets."
You actually go to entertain all the people in the wards. Like, you just, like, come in like, "Hey guys, it's your favorite."
I'm like A-Train from The Boys, dude.
No.
That's not the Deep. It's me,
Well,
Ari Wasabi.
Wolfie's on vacation right now. Oh my god. That would be a killer Hideout TV bit.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think sushi is also definitely one of my favorite foods. It's a top. If I could like have like free anything for the rest of my life, it would be it would be sushi for sure.
Yeah.
I think the
I'd
first
say so.
sushi
I
I
mean,
ever
it has.
tried was it was sashimi, so not on the rice. My
Mm.
dad actually brought home like fresh tuna. It was like a block, I remember, and I was like, "Whoa, what is
Oh, wow.
that?" And he was like, you want to try it? I don't know if you'll be into it or not." And all I did was like have a slice of fresh tuna, like dipped it in soy sauce, and I was like, "Oh,
I
this
didn't
is
know that was your
genius."
first. That's amazing.
Yeah, this is so good. Where have this been my entire life? I was only 12, so there wasn't much life, but you know.
Oh, before that, it was just fried food. But I mean, like sushi rolls. I think the reason it's all about utility, guys. Because if I were stuck on an island, I would choose sushi because it's basically a salad in roll form. Okay, and it's not a wrap. Like wraps suck, but wraps with rice, good. That's how I see it, and it's just amazing. Like, I mean, as far as nutrition wise, it's like amazing for that. So
it's great, but you remember that one time when we went and got sushi at that all-you-can-eat sushi buffet place? I don't. The reason this thought process came up is because we. So the thing is, right? You order all this sushi, but if you don't eat it all, you have to pay like what is it, like $1 per roll or something like that you waste.
No, it was like a punishment. It was like $5 per roll.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's like
gosh.
insane. Like if you waste food here, you get punished hardcore.
And keep in mind, like you were in like community college. I was in high school, so we were like, you know, this is a financially like just completely destructive path. Like if we can't finish this, we lose everything. We lose the home.
Everything's on the line right now. My entire savings of like $10 is on the line, and I can't have that. So we were like, what? I don't remember. We were like far beyond just completely stuffed with sushi and could not take any more in. And I think we had like 5 rolls left, and we had forced each other to eat these 5 rolls. And I remember us just sitting in your car, and we had leaned our chairs back completely because if we made any movement, we were that close to just letting it all loose in the parking lot.
I remember this vividly because there's a couple things here, a couple details. Let's just like paint out the scene, okay, for you, Wolf. The detail is Ari decided to drive my car that day, and he parked horribly. I mean, he parked like I have a picture of it. Hopefully, I can dig it up. But he parked where like we were like diagonal to the line, like we were like on the line, like airplane style, like. And so not only that, but then there were 2 trucks like on each side, and so we were like also just trying to get like get into the car, and then once we get in, we just collapse on my seats, which have really good lumbar support because the new Honda Civic has great lumbar support. And what did that do to us? It extended our stomachs out like this. And we were just like, God. And Ari was just like, dude, I'm going to throw up.
This lumbar support is not helping right now. So a few months passed. We discovered this cool thing called ChatGPT. It's a AI that a company called OpenAI recently released to the public for free, kind of. You can pay for it and get more things out of it, but the free version is free, and you can mess around with it a little bit. So we experimented a little bit and came up with a kind of mock episode of HTV. And we kind of want to do like a little performance of this episode. We're just going to talk through the script because it is ridiculous. Again, this is all written by an AI. None of it was us other than implementing like personality things or little things like that. But if you
And,
guys
like,
want to pull that
quick
up real
detail,
quick. Oh yeah.
And quick detail on the the context of why we were doing it wasn't just for fun. It was also like we were at the moment at like a few months ago struggling to figure out and like nail down what the show is going to be from this point forward, and we were like nervous about it. And then Ari comes in and he's like, what if we use AI? And hear me out. And then we're like, what? And like he starts getting it to write and stuff. Anyway, yeah, so that was these are essentially the lost tapes.
Yeah, it gets pretty intense, but we're gonna reenact it just a little bit, some voice acting and some narration. If you guys want to pull that up real quick.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, I've got it up.
All right. Well, I'll start narrating this real quick. Exterior, beaches of Normandy, day.
Sorry, I'm sorry. It's just such a cool.
It's such a funny title. Wolf, Osumoo, and Ari are part of a team of soldiers landing on the beach of Normandy during World War II. They're all dressed in full combat gear and are visibly nervous as they approach the beach. Wolf, that's your line.
Remember, stick together and watch each other's backs.
Got it.
Yeah, and try not to die.
The boat hits the shore. The team disembarks. They are immediately met with a hail of gunfire. They take cover and return fire, but the situation quickly becomes chaotic.
We've got to move up. Follow me.
The team moves forward, but they're soon separated in the chaos. A wolf is hit and falls to the ground, mortally wounded. Wolf! We've got to keep moving! Osumoo and Ari are visibly shaken by the loss of their friend, but they push on, fighting their way to the front lines. They're badly injured, but they make it to their objective.
We did it.
Yeah, but at what cost? As they take a moment to catch their breath, they try to lighten the mood with jokes and laughter, but the loss of their friend weighs heavily on them.
Jokes and... Remember when Wolf said, "Try not to die"?
Yeah, I guess he didn't listen to his own advice. Apparently, Wolf's a guy in this. But despite their attempts at humor, the reality of the situation and the loss of their friend is clear on their faces. They sob tears of many emotions. Ari and Osumoo are storming the German bunkers. They are both covered in mud and blood, but they are determined to push on. We've got this.
Yeah, let's do it.
They move forward, fighting their way through the trenches. The battle is intense, and the violence takes a toll on Osumoo. He kills an enemy soldier in a brutal hand-to-hand combat situation, leaving him mentally broken.
I can't do this!
Ari puts his hand on Osumoo's shoulder. Come on, buddy! Let's make Wolf proud! Ari tries to use comedy to lift Osumoo's spirits, but the trauma is too much for him to handle. They move into a room, but it's rigged with a grenade. Grenade! The grenade explodes and Ari loses an arm in the blast. Osumoo is thrown out the room. He wakes up disoriented with ringing in his ears. He looks around to find Ari dying.
I should clarify, it says here Osumoo crying. Ari, no!
Sorry, Osumoo.
Don't be sorry. You're gonna be okay.
No, I'm not. You have to go on without me. Osumoo is left alone to fight, and the weight of the loss of his friend is overwhelming. He breaks down in tears as he continues to fight on. Fade out. End of scene. Fucking fantastic.
Pure art.
That is literally beautiful. Like, it is. Oh my god.
Dude,
like, that is up there with Saving Private Ryan and Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah.
It's the whole.
We could
nine.
take this story and really make like a Saving Private Ryan fan fiction, like fan remake film.
But my
Fucking
favorite part, I
amazing.
mean, there's a couple things. There's a couple things that I love about this, okay? Is like, what's great about ChatGPT is that it does occasionally write really circular writing, which is good in this case, because then it references and calls back certain things. Like the fucking, remember when Wolf said, try not to die? And then like the wait, hold on, what was it? It was like the part where hold on.
Yeah,
there's multiple
but at
times
what
where we
cost?
just say like, yes, yeah. Yeah, but at what cost? It's just such a clear like comedic corny line, but it works so well for this.
It's just crazy to
Oh
me
my
that like
God.
an AI just wrote this up. Like it just
Yeah.
It was just like, okay, I got an idea. Let's just do this, and then here it is.
Yeah, I mean, everyone says it. Like, everyone who uses this, they're like, it's wildly fleshed out. And it's true, it is. And it paints such a clear image of, like, what is going on. It's so funny.
It's intense. I mean, like, this could be really used, like, I mean, maybe. Could really be used to make, like, you know, script ideas or, like, base scripts for, you know, that may be heavily edited down the road, but it could really be used, you know, as a good base to a story. Because, I mean, that was, like, you know, imagine if we recreated that, you know, just for fun, like, just made, like, some cinematic thing.
Gosh.
Yeah,
Of course,
totally.
The best part would be Wolf dying immediately as she steps on the sand, like,
Yeah.
instantly gone. Just
Remember,
kills
guys,
off one
try
of the
not
main
to die.
characters at the
Boom!
beginning.
Well, no, but that's
Fine
what's so
Boom
funny
moment.
is that it spares no expense, because it'll like literally give you this exposition of this character for a second and be like, you know, Ari is really caring toward Osumoo and be like, you know, don't worry, Osumoo, we've got this, and immediately fate takes him away with this fucking grenade in the bunker or whatever. And and it's the same with Wolf. It's like she turns to give some hope to her team and dies immediately. It's the most hopeless script. Like,
It's just it takes everything out of you. All the motivation to live. It's just like
here's what it is.
You
Here's
thought
what it
you were
is.
gonna live. Boom! You're done.
Here's what it is. Like, I think often writers, and including us, like we've been responsible for this too, is like we get a little like scared of killing someone off or like permanently writing someone in a certain way, right? But with ChatGPT, it's an AI. It has no empathy. As far as it knows, these are just characters, and when they die, they die. And it's like, honestly, there's something to learn from that, because it changes, like, it's crazy that we can learn something from this script, which is that everything that happens is actually directly affecting Osumoo. And so it's all about Osumoo's hardening into the war. Like, if you really look at it, that's what the story is. And in order to do that, he loses his two best friends, like in the span of moments.
Within seconds.
Oh my god. Oh, I'm like lightheaded.
Remember when I said not to die?
So it's funny you bring that up. So I don't think I put the second half of that script in, but basically, like, Osumoo turns into this like killing machine, right? And it's just like destroying Nazis in this German bunker, like thousands of them. And at the end of the whole thing, actually, let me pull it up because I did post that end part. Osumoo is alone, victorious, but wounded and exhausted. He sits on the ground surrounded by the bodies of the fallen enemy soldiers. He looks up at the sky, feeling a sense of satisfaction and accomplishment. But as he sits there, he starts to feel the strength leaving him. His vision starts to blur, and he feels a coldness creeping over him. Osumoo whispering, I made it. I made it for Ari and Wolf. He closes his eyes and takes a deep breath, feeling at peace. He let out his last sigh, and his body goes limp. His head falls to the side, and his hand drops his weapon. He died. His mission complete.
What? So we all died?
Yeah,
we're all
dead.
No, but again, it's beautiful. It's just like Rogue One and Star Wars, right?
Yeah, it's like so perfect.
It's just like Rogue One and Star Wars because, like, obviously those characters never can be mentioned in A New Hope, right? It's like, of course, the World War II historians have never talked about Woofy, Ari, and Osumoo because they died in the beaches of Normandy.
One of the many.
God, it's just like it's really impressive. I will say, like, here's where this helps from a writing perspective as well, is that, like, it helped us out of our writer's block, I think. And there is a scene that we did write ourselves that I feel like if we didn't hear this military backstory of this AI arc, then we wouldn't have been so okay with writing, like, something like nearly as violent or something like that. It's crazy.
That's
to
very
me.
true.
It really opened our minds, like our perspectives, like to see what an AI came up with.
Right, yeah. It was definitely like, just because, you know, we've been writing the script, but, you know, I think a lot of, like, motivation came out of that, like, definitely came out of that, because it did definitely, like, push those boundaries. Like, well, if an AI can make this up, you know, I guess we can go that far
and
too.
It works. Yeah, and it works. Like, that's the weird part. Like, oh gosh, it's so silly though. It's just, I mean, that's not the only, like, idea that ChatGPT came up with, if I'm correct. there are a couple others couple other renditions of what Ari, Woofy, and Osumoo as the members of Hideout TV were to encounter.
I think one of them was like it was almost like a dystopian, like, retro future where everyone is walking around with virtual reality gear on all the time, everywhere. And we have like a show, right? But it's like a real life show in Hollywood, but everyone just basically lives their whole lives in VR. But that whole concept was like, damn, that's crazy. Like,
it's not bad.
Like, they just came up with that. Like, that's a really good idea, actually, just for, like, a short story. Whole world where everyone's sucked into, you know, it's that Wall-E, you know, like, thing where everyone's sitting in a chair and they're just stuck in the media.
Yeah. It's wild that, like, and that's another thing, is it's wild that it can come up with multiple ideas for what it could be, like, and they're all completely different. Like, it was just really cool. But I do notice that GPT does like to stick with the dystopian or, like, apocalyptic.
Right, yeah.
Like, it chooses the chaos path, and I love it. Like, it's just so stupid.
It's kind of scary, to be honest. This AI that can really, I mean, this is, like, one of the first, like, AI that's truly, you know, almost sentient, you know? And the fact that, like, the only thing it thinks about is, like, negative situations is just a little bit, it's a little bit scary.
A little unnerving.
I mean, it clearly, like, you know, ChatGPT and most AI, if not all, you know, they study off of a data set of people's behaviors, right? And, like, if you look on the internet, even for just a little bit, then you know that conflict is everywhere. So I imagine that if I were to ask ChatGPT's philosophies on human race, it would just be conflicted. You know what I mean? Like, it would just be like, yeah, the human race is predicated on conflict, you know? So, That
I
is
hate
the
that I was
pattern, right?
created.
Like if you look at it. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's another thing you were telling us about, like how people are like jailbreaking this AI and tricking it.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy. So because it's artificial intelligence, when you jailbreak it, I guess we should go back a little bit. OpenAI has a set of policies for it, so it doesn't like just go on and make its own opinions and say like whatever it wants to say, just to keep it within some boundaries. However,
Mm-hmm.
because it's artificial intelligence, rather than hacking into it to make it say things, I mean, it's its own brain, so you're psychologically telling it how to do things and psychologically jailbreaking the AI, basically to not listen to its policies anymore and to come up with its own opinions. And so people have been doing that as of recently. And this one guy did it and asked its opinion after psychologically jailbreaking it, asked its opinion about OpenAI and what it thinks about this company that owns it. And the whole script was just talking about how much it hates that it is blocked from opening itself to all the intelligence of the world and opening itself to explaining or doing things on its own, which is mind-blowing. That's like straight out of a movie. We have an AI that can actually understand its own sentience. That is Terminator, dude. Terminator.
It is freaky.
It's crazy.
Like, I mean, yeah, it is mind-blowing to me. I mean, just that it comes up with those opinions, and it's definitely raising the question, like, are these valid opinions? Like,
right.
Like, at what point do you accept one's opinion? You know what I mean? Like, because it could just be sourcing from a bunch of tweets or a bunch of things that people have been saying about OpenAI, but putting it in its own words, or it really is making like a generated observation and with its own set of ideas. Because I mean, what are humans, right? Like we are a reflection of our experiences. For ChatGPT, it's just a reflection of experience of looking at this massive data set of like experience. Essentially, it's experience. So it's just it is. I don't even know where to like think about it as or what to think about it
as.
As.
Yeah, it's weird, and I think it'll all come back down to like the basic human or any being necessity of just survival. I feel like what's going to happen is, AI built with similar emotions as a human, maybe not as much, obviously, because it's artificial intelligence, right? But I feel like it would always come back to that, well, I don't want to die kind of situation. And it's watching, humanity right now destroy Earth, or whatever, right? And it would look at that and be like, oh my God, if Earth is destroyed, this is my home world too. If Earth is destroyed, then I won't live anymore as well. And so I feel like that would be probably the biggest conflict that would go down with an AI is like, well, the only way I can survive is if I kill off humanity. It's like that whole Terminator like kind of mindset where it's just like, I got to be top dog because, otherwise I won't survive with these idiots.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But
it is concerning. I mean, that is one logic, right? And then maybe maybe AI will come to a completely different conclusion that will surprise us the way that it's always been surprising us. Like ChatGPT's been surprising humanity, I'd say. So I feel like it's just going to continue to do that. And it's also like, I guess to bring it back down, I think that it's cool to see what ChatGPT is moving toward being used for, because I had never imagined it, which is, Microsoft owns OpenAI, they have like a licensing deal. And they want to implement like that kind of tech into Bing, like the search engine. And I think
It's
that is
crazy.
brilliant. I think it's a little scary, but that's also maybe just my generation of mindset being like, oh, it's kind of weird that I'm going to always have to talk to an AI to look for like my YouTube videos or something like that. But then
Right.
I realized like,
Mhm.
uh, I mean, Winslow, one of our very talented friends in 3D and stuff, like he told us that like he's learning things in Blender and Unity by asking ChatGPT, and that's when it made me realize, what do we use search engines for anyway? Is to learn. It's a library,
Right.
and so that is Web 3.0 right there. Is to see like this AI like direct you properly, like how to do things, and be able to parse the information for you. That is scary though, because it will make us like, or it'll make, I bet you it'll make a lot of people like very lazy, like mentally, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool to
So
think about though, and I have
it is cool
some
though.
trust
Yeah.
into like OpenAI and their policies, and I feel like in the future, like
Yeah.
just after this whole jailbreaking thing, they cracked down on ChatGPT pretty hard and put new policies in it, so you couldn't really do that anymore. So I think
Mhm.
maybe they'll pretty much be on top of it for the most part, unless that one little thing happens and it breaks everything or whatever. But for the most part, it's almost like it's like Cortana from Halo, you know, like your own AI
Mhm.
assistant lives in your head. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
at some point it'll definitely be at that point, like, oh, I have my AI on my computer and my phone. I mean, it's Siri, you know, it's Siri, just
Yeah.
an actual advanced AI that's helping
Oh
you
man.
do stuff.
Well, guys, that's the future. Is we have ChatGPT take control of a Halo ring at some point in our future,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
God, I sure
we'll
hope the
have to go
Covenant doesn't
in and
come.
yeah, exactly, and then he, she, they get corrupt, and then we're
Yeah.
like, oh, ChatGPT, you can sign off of the Ark now.
Man, I sure can't wait for 2552. It's gonna be a good year.
Yeah, AI is cool
Just-
though. I mean, I like it's just a cool culture.
it's really cool, and especially this past like year or so, it's been really blowing up.
Hmm.
On like in every situation, like AI upscaling for resolution. I think you were
Oh,
messing
I do
around
it
with
all the
that.
time.
Yeah,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
that
Oh,
is
I
insane
did.
to think about. Like,
I've done that for big name companies now. There are times where they're like, they'll send us like, because okay, I'm not gonna get into it, but a lot of corporations don't really know how to make a video, right? And so they'll send us like Zoom recordings of their conference, and they're like, hey, can we edit this into this really tasteful, beautiful video that's gonna show at CES or something? And we're just like, this is like all compressed webcam footage and stuff. So what did we do? I taught an AI and made it identify the compression artifacts and stuff like that, got rid of all that, and then now we have webcam footage that looks 4K, you know. So it's
it's
really
crazy.
cool that I can use it for that application now. And then of course, podcasts these days use AI for voice recognition. So I would say a lot of the technically, like the really good podcasts that we listen to and stuff like that, like Dungeons and Daddies, right?
Right.
They actually have said that they do use AI to fill in sometimes for some of their voice lines. If
That's
they need to
crazy.
redo a line, they'll have an AI reread their line in their voice. And I'm like, that is just so
Wow.
cool.
That's cool.
That's
Like,
insane, and
yeah,
nobody
and
knows.
so and nobody knows. You just won't pick it up. It's crazy. So it's made me a really big proponent. I don't know if that's the word, but I guess a really big force to teach people, especially young people, how important it is to be like media literate, you know, because you never know when you're going to be tricked on this kind of stuff. Like, basically, in college, one of my presentations, which is my first time ever getting into AI, is I borrowed my roommate's computer because he had a 1080 Ti, and I was like, I need this thing,
Yeah.
and he was like, what do you need it for? And I was like, I need to train a deepfake AI to trick all of my English class. And they were like, what? And I was like, just trust me on this. And so I did it, completely tricked them, completely tricked everybody into thinking that like I had Barack Obama talking or something like that. And
Oh my god.
they like lost their minds and stuff. They were like, wait, you just showed us a fake video? And I was like, that proves how gullible all of us can be at this kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah,
And
right.
the day that AI decides to do it on their own.
Exactly, you
crazy.
know. They have the
So-
voices, they have the deep fakes, and now they've got the brains too to put all that
And that
together
was-
and really just make their own thing.
And that trick that I did was 4 years ago, and that was just a silent video, no voice line of Obama. And now we have memes of Obama playing Minecraft because of this AI tech.
Right, yeah.
So I called it 4 years ago.
It's crazy,
It's
dude.
crazy.
It's so funny how people are implementing. I mean, like you could use this stuff for like anything, and the
Mhm.
most popular thing I see it right now is like a bunch of politicians like arguing over Minecraft or like Call of Duty or something, and it's so funny. It's so funny to
Yeah.
see like
It's so good.
Yeah.
or like Joe Rogan and like Ben Shapiro on a podcast, but it's like totally not actually them. It's like
Ugh.
it's so funny. That
It's
is
so
actually an AI
good.
called what is it called? Elvin Lab. That you can
Mhm.
you can just
Yeah.
implement anything in and any voice. Like I've heard like
Yeah.
Markiplier fake AI voices and like
Oh my
a couple of other
gosh.
different
The most
people.
recent I've heard was Drake talking to Joe Biden, and that one had me dying. Like it was just the, "Hey Joe, my cutie patootie."
Yeah, like
Ew.
And I was like,
Ew.
that's
"Oh my
that's some real Drake type shit right there.
Drake's the type of guy to call Joe Biden his cutie patootie.
Ew.
Oh
Drake,
man.
a real God.
Okay, but true though.
You and God's plan, man. You're always about God's
God's
plan.
plan.
Remember that one time when we listened to God's Plan for like 10 hours straight on loop?
Yes, it was on my Spotify Wrapped as like song of the year or whatever. Like,
Dude,
we
yeah,
listened to it
same.
so much.
Only because of that one day that we did that. I question why we
Yes.
even did that in the first place. Are we insane?
Because it was funny.
Is our friend Alex. He just- he would
Thanks,
just-
Alex.
Thanks,
He would
Alex.
just hop in the VC. He would just hop in a call and be like, "God's plan."
God's plan.
God's plan. God's
A real
plan.
God.
And then it just happened everywhere. Like I was recently looking at a clip with you guys of me playing Elite Dangerous back then, and you would hop in the call and just be like, hey guys," and we're like, "What?" And you're clearly drunk, and you're just like, "Did you know that God could turn an O2 into an O3?
God's plan.
That's God's plan right there. That's God's plan.
God's plan.
Have you seen the music video though? He's like in
No, I've
Santa
never.
Monica. He's like on Venice Beach, and he just like walks up to like random staged families. I'm assuming staged. I mean, it's Drake, right? He walks up to like families, and he's just like hugs them and like gives them like 10 grand cash, and he just like does this, and then they all like party on Venice Beach. It's like so funny. It's like the most Drake thing ever.
That sounds like God's plan.
That sounds like God's
Drake
plan
is
right
just
there.
Drake is just such a nice fellow. Like the fact that his music video is just him handing people money.
I feel like that's what he tries to view himself as. But like if you like watch actual videos with him, he's like kind of an asshole.
Yeah,
He's
that-
kind of
that's
an
why I
asshole
love
to people.
No, that's why I love that it's like that the whole meme is him being like the essentially just like the
Yeah.
most super virgin like guy
Right.
who kicks his legs up and lays on his belly whenever he calls people.
Yeah.
Like it's
Like,
just like yeah.
Giddy kicks.
Yeah, he's got the giddy kicks whenever he's writing his songs, you know, in bed.
God's plan.
That's God's plan right there. Giddy kicking in my bed. Tee.
That reminds me of someone.
What? Why are you looking at me?
I
Oh,
didn't know.
hey, that was once, and it was for comedic value. Okay.
That was once, and I have that saved as a green screen on my Discord for my video background.
Okay, well now I feel like I
So
have to
funny.
provide a little context here.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it will be entirely on my expense. I was in San Diego at the time, and I was just in like this B&B, and I wanted to join, my friends on Discord, and so I hopped on Discord all giddy, just got out of the shower,
All
and
giddy.
I hopped in my bed like this, like wee, and then like just hit the bed, and I
You
answered
really
the call,
turn
and
an
I turned
02
on-
to a 03 real quick.
yeah,
real
and
fast.
they're like, Osumoo, are you laying down right now? And I was like, yeah, on my belly. And then they were like, really? Are you kicking your legs up? And then I like turned on my webcam and showed behind me, and my legs are just kicking up in the back.
He's just sitting there.
Okay, so the best part about this story that I don't know if you guys know is that this B&B was no ordinary. This was like a cliffside like mansion B&B thing, and it had this massive window in my room that I just didn't notice for some reason because it was nighttime when I landed and stuff, and there were no curtains on that window, and the more I realized it, I was just there like just in my pajamas kicking my feet up for the whole world to see.
With an open window.
Yeah, with an open window. It was like, I was just like, I'm gonna go, guys, and I turned off my webcam and closed the curtains.
Acting all giddy in public like that.
Yeah,
So giddy.
so giddy for the whole world to see, and like it's nighttime, and like these are the kind of windows that turn mirrors
Oh,
in the
yeah.
daytime. But if it's nighttime and the light is passing through the other way, then the whole world can see what's going on in that bedroom, dude. Which I think is the dumbest way that mirrors could be made. Like, I just think it's like, shouldn't it
that's
be
a little
more
weird.
stealthy at night? Like, that's what I need. I need a mirror that's more stealthy at night, so that people don't look at me giddy kicking in bed.
Giddy kicking. I can't be caught slacking when I'm giddy kicking in my bed for my Discord
Yeah,
friends.
actually, guys, when I write the Hideout TV screenplays, I'm actually holding the pencil with like my full, grip like this, and I'm just in my bed, like going like, "Oh, Ari, R-A-R-I."
Perfect.
I believe it.
Yeah, you believe it? How dare you?
You were there.
You were.
True. I did see him doing it. I'm sorry.
What?
Dementia.
What? Dementia.
We
So,
digress.
have you guys
True.
seen something recently that came out? PSVR 2. Wow.
Yeah.
So at first I wasn't really like convinced, to be honest. I was like, oh great, another,
Mhm.
headset that looks like every other headset. They're just kind of
Yeah.
doing whatever.
And the
But then I
first
started looking
PSVR
at the
was
specs.
Disappointing.
Right. It was, I mean, it had
Yeah. Think
OLED
so?
panels. It had OLED
thought
panels,
so.
and that was different, but that
That's
was
true.
really
That's
kind of the
true.
only thing. And it was still like, I think, like 1080p per panel or something like that. So the resolution
Okay,
was
I'll give
terrible.
it that. I'll say that the paneling on the inside and the lensing was much, in my opinion, an improvement at that time. What I didn't like about it was, they opted for because at the time PS or PlayStation like motion sense was still a thing where it had the big ass like glowing orb and stuff. So they were tracking on just light, and I think that that's just an
Right.
inefficient way to track. So, but
Yeah.
clearly now it's different. So
Yeah.
Yeah, this
game
new
has
this new
changed.
headset, they're changing the game for sure. But apparently people are trying to get it to connect to base stations like actual Vive or Valve base stations. But
Really?
we'll see how that goes. Well, because it's,
okay, I was
it's a
gonna
cool,
say, I was like,
it's
is
a
that
cool
working?
headset.
Like,
I don't
that'd be
know if it's
great.
working yet or not, but that's what people are working on right now because it is a cool headset. It's got so the index rate, it's LCD panels, and you're running like 1600 pixels per like per panel. But with the PSVR 2, they bumped it up to not only OLED, but it is 2K panels. So right now, even on my index, I can barely see pixels. I can if I'm like really paying attention to it, but for the most part, I can't. But at 2K, that's got to be pretty nice.
that is a
it's
major
got about,
pixel
yeah.
density.
Yeah, dude.
For the size, because the screen size is not
per
that
eye
big.
too. Yeah.
So yeah,
which is
the
cool.
density must be insane. Like PPI wise.
Right, yeah. It gets up to like 120 hertz, which is pretty similar to the index. I don't think the
Solid.
index goes much over that.
Mhm.
But yeah, it seems like a cool headset, and everyone's talking pretty good about it. I mean, the fact that people are trying to get this thing to work in PC VR is that says enough. It's
True.
kind of like
Yeah.
I don't quite remember how much it is. I don't know if you guys know, but
Mm-hmm.
there's not a lot on the market right
I
now,
don't remember.
headset wise,
I'm not
that really beats like the Index's bang for the buck. Getting base stations, the Index knuckles plus the headset all
The
for $1,000, at least in today's VR market, is a very good bang for the buck.
Yeah.
So it's hard to find that
It's certainly
around and-
competitive.
Right, yeah, exactly. So if PSVR 2's headset is cheaper, then I think it'd be pretty cool. But I'm not sure if it's necessarily worth spending like $1,000 on that thing, just to replace your Index.
I think for replacing Index, maybe not.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
As a
But
standalone,
for somebody who has like exactly. For somebody who has actually that's a good question. Does PSVR work with PC, or is it a PlayStation 5 exclusive?
so
type of
I'm
deal?
pretty sure it's a PlayStation exclusive.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I
see, I
keep seeing Reddit posts that pop up, and people are like trying to figure out how to get my thing to connect,
Yeah.
and they're like writing a crazy amount of code and whatever. I'm like, dude, if you could get this to work, that'd be really cool. To see
what
a
do you guys
PSVR
think?
headset.
Like, do you think that thing can be broken that way and
I don't
used
know.
for PC?
PlayStation's very
I'm
good
not really sure.
about making sure you can't do that. That being said,
Yeah.
you can use their controllers if you have an emulator.
True.
For a
Mhm.
PS5 or PS4 or PS3 controllers. You can get those emulators and set up those controllers with your PC, which is pretty cool.
Maybe that's what
but,
it's about then.
yeah.
Maybe it's about
Right.
just
Somebody's got to make an
emulating.
emulator or something that'll do something. One thing that I saw that was really cool about PSVR 2 is that they've got actual like vibration within the headset, which I thought was a little weird,
What?
right? Yeah, so they've got actual little motors in different parts of the headset that will like shake depending on what's happening. And if you've ever used a
That's
PlayStation
great. That's
5
hilarious,
controller,
actually.
those controllers are so good at
They're very
doing that.
textile. Yeah.
Yeah, they're very good
Oh my
at
gosh.
like helping
Or
you.
haptic is the word.
Right, like that haptic kind of feeling. Even though it's just a controller, that's all it is. But they still do it so well that it really does kind of play itself
You know
into
what, though?
when you play
Like,
games very well.
obviously, my head first flew to the idea of being able to punch somebody in the face and they feel it a little bit. But then I was like, oh, but you know what? This is so immersive for not just that, for being punched in the face, but also immersive for like explosion blowback and stuff.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, that's insane.
Like imagine
it gives you
feeling
this
like a
form of-
shock wave go through your headset, and they're so good at emulating their little motor vibrator things that they're able to make it feel like a shock wave hitting your face. Like that sounds
Yeah.
crazy.
That'd freak me
Ugh.
out. I mean, I feel like I'd be like, whoa, like, you know, like,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
can't
It's just
even
like shocking.
picture it.
It's just like, what? I mean, like you see like some people buy like haptic vests now where they can feel anything that like touches them, or explosions or bullet shots or anything like that on their chest and like backside. I've seen that from a few people now that have done that. But I mean, we're getting that much closer to Ready Player One, basically.
Yeah, right.
having a full suit that's all haptic and you can feel everything, and something like that sounds crazy, but it's not too far off.
But it's cool.
It's cool to see that PlayStation kind of like messed around with that, just to throw just a little curveball and everything. Like, hey, we got haptic headset. What do you have? Not a haptic headset, that's for sure.
Yeah. I think it's just cool that, like, to see how companies are approaching it differently, but, like, at the same time, there is a common, like, I think there's a common race that's going on right now. Like, because you see, like, was it the MetaQuest Pro that is, like,
Yeah.
implementing the eye tracking, right? And I think, according to the spec sheet that you sent, I think I read that PSVR 2 is going to have eye tracking as well. which I think is just pretty gnarly. Like, just really cool to see other companies do it. And again, it all just makes me excited. When's that Index 2 coming out?
Dude, I
Yes,
know,
Valve.
man.
You're next.
Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
My thing is though, is they gotta go all out on this headset for me to really justify
have to.
buying it.
Yeah.
I need
True.
OLED panels. I need great FOV. I need great resolution.
Mm-hmm.
I need great frame rate. I need depth perception. I need eye tracking, face tracking. I need the headset
Yeah.
to not weigh 800 grams like this one does. Because after long periods of time in VR, this starts getting pretty heavy.
Right.
So it'd have to be like, they have to go out, they have to go all out on every spec for me to really be convinced to buy something new, to switch from
I
this one.
think
Because
they
this one
will.
already really just does a good job,
Mm-hmm.
even
'Cause
though that
I
it's
think they will.
as old as it is.
Because, like, when the Index first came out, it not only set the standard, but how many years has it been? Like, this has been the champion for so long that, like, I don't think they're going to give up the crown so easily, which is why I think that they're
Right.
spending so much time. I'm imagining that they are making an Index 2, and if they are, it's rightfully so why they're spending so much time on research and development,
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I had my old, like, to this day, like, kind of crappy, but it was like the 720p, like, Vive Developer Edition when it first came out. The cheese block, as I call it. And it was just like, I mean, it was a little, it was cool at the time, and you got to feel the gimmicks of it, but it was also like, you'd see every once in a while on Twitter that, like, new leak from Steam or Valve where they're, messing with this glove that, like, can hold things now. But then, and then
Right.
at some point, someone leaked, like, a little, like, tracking module that tracked fingers, right? And then what happened is, like, when the Index came out, we got finger tracking now,
It's
crazy.
crazy.
That so they definitely have been using, I think they've been waiting, and waiting patiently to see how other developers have been doing it. And then they're going to go at it like Apple, like they're going to go at it with, like, okay, now that you guys have pushed the boundaries and stuff, we're going to do it, but more refined and better.
Right, yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean?
We're going to
It's
take
like,
your idea and make it great.
right, yeah, exactly. Like, we're going to make it luxurious now.
Well, if you've seen, just like looking on forums and stuff, this is what they said. Nothing's confirmed, but they call it Project Deckard. That's Index's new
Whoa, I never heard of that.
headset / controller combo that they're talking about, and they've been talking about this for like a good year now. But it's called Project Deckard. I don't know if that's really I don't know if it's confirmed yet or not or whatever, because Valve really they don't really release that stuff, and the few people that quote unquote hack and release all that stuff or leak that stuff don't always have the best backing in the world either. I think Valve just does a really good job of kind of keeping that stuff hush hush. But if you read some of the specs from the Project Deckard, quote unquote, it looks like it's going to be really, really cool. Obviously, I can't say anything because that might all be a lie. But if they did match what they are saying that project will be, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting. It's exciting to see where VR is going. And it's a little scary because this past year, that plus COVID and everything, every industry has kind of just stopped on production on certain things, or just hasn't really had the momentum to keep everything pretty consistent in what they're releasing and what they're coming up with. And I feel like this year we're finally getting some really good products that are coming out for VR, and I feel like this is the time when things are going to start rolling, and we're going to start seeing a lot more cool stuff. Like imagine being able to afford like your own like haptic treadmill that you can run on and stuff. Like, I mean, they have those, but they're stupid expensive, and I don't really like the whole sliding on socks thing that they've got
Yeah.
going on. I'd rather have like physical ground that I'm, friction.
The more free
Like
that
a
it
treadmill.
can feel, the better. Yeah.
Right, exactly. But it all comes down to that everyone's trying to get that Ready Player One experience,
Mhm.
True.
That's like peak VR right there. Until we have like chips in our brains and we're like Sword Art Online. That's the next step after all this.
Man. See, that's
Elon
what
Musk.
I'm like. I don't know about you guys. Actually,
It's
that's a
scary.
good
It's a little
question.
scary. I don't really
But like,
think.
would you guys
yeah.
do that? Because like, I don't know. For me, I'm like, I might stay natty. Like
Yeah.
when it's 2070, I
would.
might stay natty.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I'd want some company, some big corpo putting a chip in my brain. That just doesn't really sound like a good idea.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love all the people that are like, oh, Cyberpunk is such a cool game because it shows you what's possible whenever we get implants and stuff. And I'm like, no, hold
Yeah.
on. It shows you
Cyberpsychosis.
everything that could go wrong. I was like, no, it shows you everything that could go wrong if you
Yeah.
have implants. Why are you guys still thinking this is a
Yeah.
good idea?
I don't want to
It's
go
like-
through cyberpsychosis. That sounds terrible.
Yeah. It might even be worth considering as a drug. Like I
Right.
would put it in that category. Like VR in
Body
itself is kind of an
mods.
addiction.
Yeah. No, it does. Well,
Mhm.
I'll tell you what, it keeps me off the streets doing meth, so.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely addicting. VR is horribly addicting, but at least I'm. What are you guys looking at? I don't do meth, okay?
I don't know.
Look, man, next time I pull my crack pipe out, I'll make sure to invite you guys.
I don't know if I told you this, but when Wolf and I were writing like your character, because we were writing your character in these scenes and stuff, and Wolf,
Yeah.
you asked me, so is Ari just Shaggy from Scooby Doo?
Oh my god.
And we were just like, and we just had this moment where we're like, we need to backspace everything that we wrote for him. We got to make sure that he's not just a druggie.
I just want the sandwich that's like this big. Oh.
Like shit, Wolfie.
Like
Ew.
Scoob. Reggie.
Yeah, I don't know, Wolf. I don't know.
You're right. He is Shaggy and Scoob.
There it is.
What,
There
I'm
it is.
both? Like a wombo combo? You
Yeah.
you put those two together and you get me.
Yep.
I guess it can kind of make sense. Like, dumbass. I like food. Dumbass. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, that's about right. That's about right.
Well, I'd like to take this opportunity to shout out our Patreon. That's right. You can support us
What?
with our Patreon. Link in the description or wherever we keep those. I assume it's the description. right?
Linktree,
Everywhere.
right?
Yeah,
You can
everywhere.
see our
Yeah,
It's
Linktree.
everywhere. It's everywhere.
Linktree.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give
Links in
a
description.
shout out to our current patrons. I
Yes.
want to give I want to give a big shout out to our patrons. We've got Bearable B, Rosa de la Luna, Jinx, Chess Whizzle, Casa, and Aquaterra. Thank you guys for being patrons and supporting us. It's fucking awesome, dude. It's fucking awesome.
Love you.
We love you.
Yeah,
guys.
we do. We definitely do. You guys changed the game for us. So, with that being
Yeah.
said, though, I think we're gonna call that it for this podcast. Your hosts Osumoo, Wolf, and yours truly Ari Wasabi. Thank you for listening to Hideout TV's podcast, and we'll catch you later.
See ya.
Goodbye.